2. Today we are from session 2 from group 2. We will be present about renewable energy. From our group members all have 6 members. First is me, Muhammad Izzuddin bin Fazul. Second, Nik Ahmad Hakim bin Nik Azman. Third, Nik Abdul Muhaimin bin Nik Azran. Fourth, Muhammad Azami bin Muhammad Ayub. 5, Arif Izzuddin bin Jafri. And lastly, Zaid bin Harun.
Thank you, Muhammad Izzuddin. For introduction, humans need technology to facilitate daily work. Such technology requires electrical energy generated from electrical substation. However, the energy produced cannot be generated continuously because it is obtained from non-renewable resources. Such as fossil fuels, coal, oil and gas. This is because the source takes hundreds of millions of years to form. As such, we must take alternative measures to reduce the use of non-renewable energy sources by substituting them for renewable energy sources. Renewable energy is the energy obtained from nature sources that are replenished at a higher rate that they use. For example, sunlight, water, and wind are constantly replenished sources. On the other hand, using renewable energy sources hence it can reduce the impact of greenhouse on the environment while addressing the climate crisis.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zaid bin Harun. So I will continue our presentation by explain about the hydropower definition. Hydropower, in addition, illustrates as electricity power, harnesses the force of moving water to produce electricity. The use of water resources as supply of energy as associate and take practice. Hydroelectric power is electricity created from generators driven by turbines that convert the energy of falling or fast-flowing water into mechanical energy. Hydropower have a benefit, advantages, and disadvantages. The benefits of hydropower is the main sensible factor concerning the big amount of relatively reliable electricity the electricity dams supply is that the electricity is every renewable and low in carbon emission. Hydro energy was a cleaner renewable electricity. Secondly, hydro energy was energy independence as a vicinity of portfolio of energy sources. Victimization electricity implies that a much bigger reliance on domestic energy as a position fossil fuels mine overseas in location with less hard environmental regulation. Besides that, it had been flood control. Next, the advantages of hydropower. Hydro energy manufacture a lot of energy and a great deal of advantage to human and nature. Hydro energy was a food security as a reliable offer of water for irrigation. Hydropower facilities support food production activities. Hydro energy was a flood protection. Several dams offer control by capturing flood waters. Therefore, emotional dam beneath controlled circumstances to the watercourse below. The advantages of the hydropower. The advantages, the disadvantages of hydropower is hydro energy provide the impact on the fish to form a hydro plant, a running water thought to be dammed. This prevents fish from reaching their breeding ground. That in turn affects any animal that depends on those fish for food. As a result of the water stop flowing, riverside habitats begin to disappear. Hydro energy will love high initial values. As a result, the price is quite equally sized for plants. Lastly, hydro energy causes a flood risk. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azudin bin Fazul. My metric number is 88210581. Today I'm going to present about solar energy. The definition of solar energy is solar energy, an radiation from the sun capable of manufacturing heat inflicting chemical reaction, or generating electricity. The complete amount of solar energy incident on Earth is vastly in way more than the world's current and anticipated energy requirements. If fitly harnessed, this extremely subtle offer has the potential to satisfy all future energy needs. At interval the 21st century, solar energy is anticipated to become increasingly participating as a renewable energy supply because of its inexhaustible profile and its non-polluting character, in stark distinction to the finite fossil fuel, coal, petroleum, and natural gas. The sun is very powerful energy supply, and sunlight is way and way the largest source of energy received by Earth, but its intensity at Earth's surface is really quite low. This may be primarily because of the massive radial spreading of radiation from the distant sun. A relatively minor addition loss is due to Earth's atmosphere and clouds that absorb or scatter the maximum quantity as 54% of the incoming sunlight. The daylight that is very cheap consists of nearly 50% visible light, 45% infrared radiation, and smaller amount of ultraviolet and various varieties of magnetic force radiation. The potential for solar energy is enormous, since regarding 200,000 times the world's totally daily electric generating capability is received by Earth daily at interval the type of star energy. Unfortunately, though solar energy itself is free, the high worth of its collection, conversion, and storage still limits its exploitation in many places. Radiation is converted either into thermal energy, heat, or into electrical energy, though the previous is a smaller amount difficult to accomplish. So we go to benefit of solar energy. Many in ASEAN nations around the world are putting in solar battery system to provide from this clean, renewable energy power. In keeping with energy science, technology, environment, and climate change Minister Ms. Yeo Bay Yin, Malaysia will turn out 1.4 times a lot of electricity if all the roofs in land Malaysia are lined with star panels. Sadly, at present, solely 2% of Malaysia's electricity is made by renewable energy sources, as the country's energy production remains keen about restricted fuel resources like oil, coal, or natural gas. Here are the most advantage of going solar. Firstly, the impact of solar power on the atmosphere. Solar power has the smallest amount negative impact on the environment compared to the other energy source. It doesn't turn out greenhouse gases and does not pollute the water. It consequently needs little water for its maintenance, in contrast to atomic energy. Plants, for example, needing 20 times a lot of water. Solar power production does not produce any noise. That is major benefit, since plenty of star installations are in urban areas. Love domestic solar panels. Secondly, it cuts back your energy bill. Generating your own electricity implies that you may be mistreatment list from the utility supplier. This may not translate to savings on your energy bills. Plus, you'll conjointly put cash by commerce the unused electricity that you have got generate back to the grid. Through solar panel grant offer, you can make your experience investment even a lot of beneficial. The more energy you produce, the less you may want from the provider, which is able to increase your energy self-reliance. Nevertheless, that it absolutely was an energy production throughout peak hours. Energy demand tend to be higher within the 11 to to 4:11 p.m. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. time frame, so early in the evening. Naturally, this is often the amount once the volume of the electricity peaks. Solar power happens to succeed in its most production capability throughout those hours. Electricity made at that point has higher price than if it absolutely was generated at night. With the extra electricity input of solar power, costs in those time frames can be driven all the way down to a level on the point of those of night hours. Next, solar energy is appreciable and everywhere. As long as there's sunshine, solar energy can be deployed anywhere. This is often significantly helpful for remote regions with no access to the other supply of electricity. There's a colossal quantity of individuals around the world with no access to electricity. Independent solar systems can be deployed in those regions and improve the lives of several people. Moreover, solar power is additionally used to power up spacecraft and boats. Besides that, less electricity lost throughout long-distance transport. A number of the energy, around 3 to 5%, is lost during transportation and distribution. The longer the distance between the assembly and therefore the offer points, the a lot of energy is lost. Those losses may not appear vital, however, they will influence the performance of the installation in regions with high population density. Having solar panel on the roof or within the yard considerably reduce the distance, therefore increasing the efficiency of the solar panels. Solar power can even improve grid security. The grid is a smaller amount susceptible to block out if there are several power plants that are unfold out. A grid with high penetration of solar energy has thousands of energy production centers which are widely spread out. This improves the protection of the grid just in case of overload, natural or human-caused disasters. Besides solar energy was employment creation. There are many advantages of solar energy, and another one is job creation. Massive part of the value related to solar systems comes from the installation of the panels. This contributes to native job creation. Using solar system boosts the economy and absolutely affect the local community. So next is the advantage of using solar energy. Firstly, it has a less negative impact on the environment. Secondly, it will not make any noise. It is necessary since they are used for residential functions. It saves money as a result. Your electricity bill will be lower because the solar panel will provide the majority of your energy. Next is solar energy is used everywhere. You may be ready to place your system anywhere there is sunshine. Lastly, the solar energy increases the price of your home. Although they have a lot of benefit and advantage, solar systems come with disadvantage. Firstly, the disadvantage of using solar energy is they require high initial costs compared to different varieties of systems that use renewable energy. Secondly, it is not portable. Thirdly, solar energy causes no electricity at night because the sun is always on the morning or on the day. So if you want to use solar system, you don't have any electricity in the night. Lastly, the sub panels do not seem to be aesthetically stunning to a number of individuals. These panels are noticeable, and anyone who is passing by will notice them either in the yard or on the rooftop. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zudin bin Fazul. My metric number is 88210581. Today I'm going to present about wind energy. The definition of wind energy is wind energy is electricity created from the naturally flowing air at interval in the Earth's atmosphere. As a resources that won't get depleted through use, its impact on the setting associated with the climate crisis is significantly smaller than burning fossil fuels. Wind energy is created by one issue as straightforward as a gaggle of 8-foot sail position to capture prevailing winds that then flip a stone and green grain, a greensteel, or it is often as difficult as a 150-foot vane turning a generator that produces electricity to be held onto in a passing battery or deployed over an influence distribution system. There are even bladeless wind turbines. As of 2021, there are over 67,000 wind turbines running within the United States, found in 44 states, plus Guam and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Wind generated about 8.4% of electricity in the US in 2020. It provides approximately 6% of the world's electricity needs. Wind energy is growing year over year by about 10% and will be a key part of most global climate change reduction and property growth plans in the Pacific form of countries, along with China, India, Germany, and conjointly the United States. Human beings use wind energy in exceedingly wide variety of ways, from the straightforward it's still used to pump water for placental mammals in fertile remote locations, to the increasingly complex. Think of the thousands of turbines that dominate the hills that track Route 518 in California. The essential components of any wind energy system are fairly similar. There are blades of some size and kind that are connected to a drive shaft, so a pump or generator that either uses or collects the wind energy. If the wind energy is utilized directly as a mechanical force, like edge grain or pumping water, it's called a windmill. If it converts wind energy to electricity, it's referred to as wind rotary engine. A turbine system wants more components like batteries for electricity storage, or is getting to be connected to an associated degree of influence in distribution system like power lines. That one is terribly consequence of once the wind was first controlled by a person's being. But wind was completely controlled by a person being as the easiest method to maneuver boats on Egypt's Nile River around the year 5000 before Christ. By the 2nd century before century, people in China were mistreating the wind to power simple water pumps, and windmills with hand-woven blades were used to green grain and interval throughout the Middle East. Over time, wind pumps and mills were used in all kinds of food production there, and the thought that unfolded to Europe, where the Dutch designed huge wind pumps to empty wetlands, and from there the thought traveled to the America. So we are going to know about the advantage of wind energy. Firstly, the wind energy was a free fuel. Secondly, wind energy is one of the cleanest source of energy. Thirdly, wind energy is advancement in technology. And finally, it does not disrupt farmland operations. So even though wind energy gives advantage, a lot of advantage of human being, there are some disadvantage about using the wind energy. Firstly, it was absolutely dangerous to some lives. Wind turbines are known to cause a threat to wildlife. Secondly, wind energy produces a lot noise. Thirdly, wind energy has a valuable direct cost. And finally, it was unpredictable and unreliable. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, for the
conclusion, even though it is not a common or simple source of energy, renewable energy is better for the environment and will ultimately cost less for businesses. Even though they may be now marginally as expensive. Conventional energy sources like coal and natural gas pose a severe threat to the planet and have much less potential than renewable energy sources. Contrary to resources that we only have in infinite quantities like coal, renewable energy sources notably solar and wind energy. Are endless. A business that uses renewable energy won't ever run this risk of running out of energy so long as the sun is still up and the wind is still blowing. Studies also shown that companies that make investment in the creation and use of green energy actually save money when gains resources are managed well. Last but not least, choosing renewable energy is choosing the future. Investing in renewable energy will benefit the environment and all humans for many years to come, in addition to creating jobs. That's all from me. That's all from my group. Thank you.